Worksheet. I need both assignments out. I need the worksheet out. I need your bookwork out. So right now, I'm going to be flipping back and forth. I want your undivided attention, and I need to make sure you all are with me. Are we ready? Number 1, 3x squared is equal to 75. The directions say solve each equation by finding square roots. So what do you think I need to do here? Divide by 3. X squared is 25. Now what? Take the square root of both sides. So x is equal to plus or minus 5. Excellent. Do we understand how to do 1 through 3? Number 4, x squared plus 12x plus 36 is equal to 25. It says solve each equation. Now, folks, there's several ways you could have done this. How many of you subtracted 36, then taken the middle term and divided it by 2, and then squared both sides and added to both sides? Okay, you could have done that. But here's what I want you to notice. Can I factor this right here? X plus 6, x plus 6 is equal to 25. How many x plus 6 do you have there? 2. Isn't that already done for you? How many of you noticed that 12 divided by 2 is 6? And if I square that and add it to both sides, what is 6 squared? Okay, so I'm just going to show you that. If I would have taken this over to the other side and subtracted 36, and then take the 12 and divide it by 2, that gives me 6. X squared plus 12x plus 6 squared. Do you see that? I'm just showing what you guys did on your own. That these turn into the x plus the 6 squared already, and 25 minus 36 plus 36. Do you see what happens to the 36s? They cancel out, and you have exactly the same stinking thing. Do we see that? Because these things, they wanted you to notice that 36 is a perfect square. What do you notice about 25 on number 5? Perfect square. What about 16, which is the leading coefficient of number 6? It's a perfect square. 1's a perfect square. 25 is a perfect square, and 9 is a perfect square. Do we see that? Okay? So all you had to do was notice that. Now, how do I solve this? What do I do from here? I square root it. X plus 6 is equal to plus or minus 5. Now what? I have x is equal to negative 6 plus 5, and x is equal to negative 6 minus 5. Do we see that, yes or no? To give you negative 1 and negative 11. Okay? Now, I'll do number 7 for you yet. 25x squared minus 30x plus 9 is equal to 81. Is 25 a perfect square? Is 9 a perfect square? Can I factor it? 3 times 3. Okay? So I have 5x and 3. 5x and 3. I need a positive 9, so I need a negative inside. Do we see that? Do we see it? Yes or no? How many of you did it like this? No one? Do you see it now, people? Does that make sense now? Okay? So now I have 2 of these. And what do? I take the square root. So 5x minus 3 is equal to plus or minus 9, which is exactly what you would have gotten if you went ahead and got rid of that and divided each term. Okay? If you completed the square on this, you would have gotten the exact same answer as I am getting. Do we all understand that, yes or no? Okay, so now what? I'm going to have 2 equations here. 5x minus 3 is equal to positive 9. Do we see that? And then what? 5x minus 3 is equal to negative 9. Do we see that, yes or no? TJ, what do you want? Don't bug him, bug me. because a power, which is the power 2, and the root, which is the square root, cancel each other out. Okay? So now, if I solve these, I add 3 to both sides. 5x is equal to 12. Divide by 5. X is equal to 12 over 5. Add 3. 5x is equal to negative 6 to give you x is equal to negative 6 over 5. Or negative 6, yeah, negative 6 over 5. I thought I said that wrong. Do you see your 2 answers? Do you understand what you needed to do for problems 1 through 7 now, yes or no? No? I didn't say you did them wrong. You completed the square on them. You did more work. Well, you had to do that. You just didn't finish the problem. Yeah. Yeah. The negative 1 and the negative 11. And you'll get that whenever you do the calculations. Mackenzie, do you understand that now? Okay. Are we good on 1 through 7? Number 8. X squared minus 1/2 x plus what? What it wants you to do is to complete the square. Okay? So, you tell me. What do I do there? What 2 numbers, when you add them together, are going to give you a 1/2? A 4th and a 4th, right? Well, that would make sense. So I know this has to be a 4th, because that's going to be the number that whenever I add it together is going to give me that. Now, how do I prove that? I know a 4th plus a 4th is equal to a 1/2, right? Do you see that? Negative, negative. Do you see that, Danny? Okay. Now, how do I prove that besides my logic that I just used? I take my middle term and do what with it? Divide it by 2. When you divide it by 2, that's the same thing as multiplying by a 1/2, right? Now, what's 1/2 times 1/2? 1/4. Do you see that? Now, that's the number that if you square it, what's that going to give you? 1/16. That is what goes right here, because a 4th plus a 4th is a 1/2, which is going to give you the 1/16 when you multiply it. Because if you factor it, people, x and x, 1/4 times 1/4 is 1/16. And 1/4 plus 1/4 is what? 1/2. Do we see that? Yes or no? Okay? So that's what goes in the parentheses, but then you had to square it to get what goes up there. Yes or no, people? We good? No, I'm showing you the parentheses as to why it works out like that, because it's the factored form of it. We get it? Do you understand that, though? Okay? That's okay. Rachel. I would prefer that you have the 1/16 because 1/4 squared is a calculation that you haven't completed. Does that make sense? Okay. Are we good on that? Okay. Next, 11 through 18. Now, if we do number 11, x squared plus 10x minus 1 is equal to 0. The directions say solve each quadratic equation by completing the square. Do you see that on problems 4 through 7 it just says solve the equation? It didn't require that you complete the square. You guys did because that's what we've been working on, but no one says you have to do it like that, right? Okay? So if I'm working on number 11 and it wants me to complete the square, step 1 says to do what? Take the constant over the other side. Very good. X squared plus 10x is equal to 1. Step 2, the leading coefficient must be 1. Is it currently 1? It is. So now step 2, or 3. Take your coefficient of your x term and divide it by 2, which gives me 5. And what do I do with that? Square it and add it to both sides. So x squared plus 10x plus 5 squared is equal to 1 plus 5 squared. Now, step 4. I have to write this as a binomial, taking the x term, the plus sign, and the 5, and squaring it. So x plus 5 squared is equal to 1 plus 25. Where did I get the 25 from? Now what do I do with the 1 plus the 25? So that's x plus 5 squared is equal to 26. Now, what do the directions tell me to do? I'm sorry? I said to solve for x. So if I'm solving this for x, what do? I need to square root both sides. So that's going to be x plus 5 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 26. Why the square root of 26? Because there are no factors of 26 that are perfect squares. Does that make sense? Okay? So now I need to solve this. So what do I do? Subtract 5. X is equal to negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 26. So now what's my first answer? Negative 5 plus the square root of 26. And what's my second answer? Do we see that, yes or no? Okay. That is the same. But what Mackenzie was talking about up here is she was very confused because she did not finish this calculation. Whenever you can actually get a number like this and get a number like this, you have to break it up and calculate it. So the only numbers that I would accept for this answer is going to be negative 1 and negative 11. If you give me this crap of saying that x is equal to negative 6 plus or minus 5, I'm going to count it wrong. Why? Because you can physically say negative 6 plus 1 is, or negative 6 plus 5 is going to be negative 1. And that negative 6 minus 1 is going to be, or negative 5 is going to be negative 11. You can see that. Does everybody get that? I can't reduce this at all. So the square root has to remain there. I could reduce this, which is why I have negative 6 plus 5 and negative 6 minus 5 to give me the negative 1 and negative 11. Do we get that, yes or no? So when it's reducible, you have to give me the separate answers. When it is not reducible, like this, you can do the plus or minus. Okay, but the whole point of it is for you to understand that when you're doing the plus or minus, you still have two separate answers. Do we get that? Okay. Okay. Number 19 on the worksheet. Rewrite each equation in vertex form. Refresher. Y equals x minus h squared plus k. This is your vertex form. Do we all understand that? Yes or no? That's your vertex form. That, you have to get the x squared minus 6x plus 4 in that form. There are many different ways that you can do this. I'm not going to be picky about the way that we do it. All right? I need you to get there some way, somehow. I need you to understand that y is a filler. Okay? You can pretend that that filler is 0, that y represents 0. Do we get that, yes or no? So if I complete the square on number 19, what's my first step I should do? Get rid of that 4. So I have y minus 4 is equal to x squared minus 6x, and that's done right now. So step 2, my leading coefficient has to be a 1. It is. Now, I want you to notice something up here in this formula. If I add an a there, what does that a represent? A number, but what does it mean from section 4-1? The a value is your stretch or compress. The a value is your stretch or compress on it. Yes? Now, you cannot ignore that stretch or compress. That stretch or compress is multiplied by a number, right? Which means you have to think about that when we do the next example. For this example, we're okay because my leading coefficient is understood to be what value? which means is it compressed or stretched at all? No. Do we all understand that? Yes or no? Okay. So now, mentally, I need to do what now? 6 divided by 2 is 3. Many of you are zoning out. You need to come back to me on here. So I'm going to take y minus 4, and I'm going to add what to it? 3 squared is equal to the x squared minus 6x plus 3 squared. Do we see that I added 3 squared to both sides? Yes or no? Okay. Now, what is 3 squared? So y minus 4 plus 9 is equal to, now I'm going to take and write those 3 terms as what? X minus 3 quantity squared. Did you hear the difference on what I just said? Many of you say x squared. It's not x squared. It's x minus 3 quantity squared. Okay? Now what do I do? Y plus 5 is equal to x minus 3 squared. When you do inner and outer, inner gives you negative 3x, outer gives you negative 3x to give you a negative 6x. If you were to FOIL those two, x minus 3 squared is x minus 3 times x minus 3. Okay? You must not understand that then. This factors into this, which means if I FOIL this, x squared minus 3x plus 9. X squared minus 6x plus 9. This can be rewritten as x minus 3 squared. In other words, this right here is this right here. It's no different than me calling you TJ rather than Tyler. Right? It's the same concept. So now, what do I do with this? I'm going to subtract the 5. Y is equal to x minus 3 squared minus 5. Is this in the form that I want it? It's in vertex form, right? Did it say to find the vertex? No, it said to put it in the form of a vertex, meaning I can find the stretch, I can find the reflect, the max, the min, and the vertex and the axis of symmetry if I so wish to. Do we understand that? Okay, now, this is number 47 out of your bookwork, which is exactly like the rest of your worksheet. Now, I need to show you this. Step 1, what do I do? Subtract the 1. So y minus 1 is equal to 2x squared plus 8x. Step 2. How would you normally get rid of the 2? We can't divide by 2 because as I showed you before, that is my stretch and compress, correct? I'm not solving for it. I'm not trying to find where it crosses the x-axis. I want to know what the stretch, what the shrink, what the stretch or the compress, the vertex, the axis of symmetry, what all of that is. So I cannot divide by 2, but I can factor it out. Factoring out is another way to represent the division, right? So if I pull a 2 out of that, what am I left with? X squared plus 4x. Now, the same procedure is true. So what does my brain mentally need to do? So I need to take the 4 and divide it by 2 to give me a 2. However, where is that 2 coming from? The inside of the parentheses, right? And that inside of the parentheses is being multiplied by what? A 2 already. So on my right-hand side, I'm going to have 2 times x squared plus 4x plus 2 squared. Do we see that? Yes or no? Do we see that? But I'm not just adding 2 squared. What's 2 squared? I'm taking 4, which is the 2 squared, and I'm multiplying it by what value? 2. Do we see that? Which is going to be my stretch or my compress. Yes? So on my left-hand side, I need to add the y minus 1 plus the 2, which came from here, times the 2 squared, which came from here. Do we see that? I'm not just adding 4 to both sides. I'm adding 2 times 4. Because that 4 that I added on the inside of the parentheses is being multiplied by 2. Do we all understand that? Yes or no? Okay. So this gives me y minus 1 plus 2 times 4, which gives me y minus 1 plus 8, which gives me y plus 7. Do we see this side of the left-hand side? Yes or no? Make sense? And this is going to be equal to what? The 2 stays, and I keep this, the sign, and that number now. And what's that going to be represented as? X plus 2 quantity squared. Do we see that I'm just going to drop that down here? Because I can't do anything else to that side. Do we understand that? Yes or no? Okay? So now, what do I do with the stuff on the left? I'm going to subtract the 7. So if I subtract 7, I have y is equal to 2 times the x plus 2 squared minus 7. Number 47 is now done. It was difficult because you had to work with the letter y and understand that was a placeholder. You also had to understand that you were multiplying by a value or a stretch of 2, which meant you were increasing the amount that you were adding on both sides. Yes? So let's go back and do one from the worksheet now. Worksheet number 22. What do I do? Add the 2. So I have y plus 2 is equal to negative 2x squared plus 6x. What's my leading coefficient? So what does that mean with stretch and compress world there? I have to factor it out. You're right. But Corey, what does that mean? He's exactly right. If I'm going to pull out this negative 2, negative 2x squared divided by negative 2 is x squared. 6x divided by negative 2 is going to be a negative 3x. What this negative 2 means right here is that it's reflected over the x-axis and that it's being stretched by a factor of 2 units. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Instead of opening up like a U, it's opening up like a horseshoe. Yes or no? And if we don't keep that negative 2 there, it throws off the entire problem. Do we understand? Yes or no? Excellent. Now what do? I take that 3 and I divide it by 2. I can't do anything with it. It stays as 3 over 2. And what do I do with that 3 over 2? I square it and I'm going to add it to both sides. Now, did I only add a 3 over 2 squared? What did I add to both sides? You also have to multiply it by the negative 2, remember? Okay? So now what we're adding to both sides is going to be y plus 2 plus negative 2 times 3 over 2 squared. Do you see that's what I added to both sides technically? Because that 3 over 2 is within the parenthesis, and that parenthesis is being multiplied by the negative 2 value. Yes or no? Yes? Okay, so now, how do I rewrite this right-hand side? How do I rewrite it? From the beginning, please. Negative 2 x minus 3 over 2 quantity squared. Okay? What is 3 over 2 squared? 9 over 4. So I have y plus 2 minus 2 times 9/4. Put the 2 over 1. You cannot take 2 and subtract 2 from it and give you 0. It's illegal. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally says you must do the order of operations. Multiplication becomes before addition and subtraction. So what does the 2 turn into? What does the 4 turn into? So now I have y plus 2 minus 9 over 2 is equal to negative 2 times the x minus the 3 over 2 quantity squared. It might be ridiculous and it might stink, but it is what it is. Now I need to find the least common denominator because now I'm taking the 2 over 1 minus 9 over 2. So what is the least common denominator between 1 and 2? 2. So I have y plus a 2 minus a 2, and I already have a 9 there, right? So what did I multiply 1 by to get 2? What I do to the bottom? Do to the top. So 2 times 2 is 4. Yes? So what is 4 minus 9? Am I done yet? What am I got to do? I got to bring that 5 over 2 over to the other side. So y is equal to negative 2, x minus 3 over 2 squared plus 5 over 2. Now I'm done. So can anybody tell me what my vertex of that is if I asked? What's my vertex? Corey? Nope. Remember, when it's inside the parentheses, it's opposite. So Jonathan? My vertex is 3 over 2, comma 5 over 2. What's my stretch? 2, and is it reflected? Yes. And what's my axis of symmetry? Remember, it's the x-coordinate of your vertex, so x equals 3 over 2. Okay? So you guys are trying to forget all that stuff, and you're not allowed. Okay, let's do 25. 16x squared plus kx plus 9 is equal to 0. Find the value of k that would make the left side of each equation a perfect square trinomial. So how do I do this? Put it into two binomials. 16 is a perfect square, isn't it? So that's going to be 4x and 4x. 9 is a perfect square, yes? So 3 and 3. I need a positive k value, so my signs have to be the same. So inner gives me 12x, outer gives me 12x, so that gives me a total of 24x. So what does k have to be? Has to be 24. Do we understand that? Let me guess, no one likes 26. You don't like 23? That's because you don't know the factors of 196 that are perfect square. You know that 12 times 12 is what? So you got to go higher than 12. Do 13 squared, 14 squared, 15 squared. 1/4 x squared minus kx plus 1 over 25 is equal to 0. Is 1/4 a perfect square? Tell me this, is 4 a perfect square? Is 25 a perfect square? So 1/4 and 1/25 would also be perfect squares, right? So this is going to be 1/2 x. 1/2 x. Why am I saying 1/2? Because 2 times 2 is 4, right? And what does this have to be? 1/5 and 1/5. And I need a positive 1/25, so I need a negative negative on the inside. So what does the inner give me? 1/5 times 1/2 is 1/10 negative x. And this gives me negative 1/10 x to give me negative 2/10 x to give me negative 1/5 x, which would imply k is what? Negative 1/5. How many of you got that? What? It is. Technically, I get what you're saying. There's already a subtraction up there, so why? So it would be 1/5. But if we're going to factor this, I want your brains to understand that. So I would take that would give you the 1/5. That's fine. Do we understand, yes or no? We get where this is all coming from. Do you all understand what I expected you to do on the worksheet yesterday? How many of you did what I expected you to do without any problems yesterday? Really? No one? Whenever you have 3 terms and it says to complete the square, what they want you to do is write it as a binomial. Find the numbers that give you the binomials. So you're missing that 3rd term, weren't you, for 8 through 11, or 8 through 10? Does everybody feel better about this? Are you listening to me? You cannot talk and listen at the same time. If we have school tomorrow, be ready for a quick quiz. I can't let your brains be going like this forever on it. True? If they're done and they're accurate and completed, you may put them in the bin. If they're not, you need to finish it tonight.